What's going on, guys? I am back talking about a laptop that I have been using for the past few months. You already know based on the title of this video. And I wanted to hold off, rushing to get a review out there because there weren't a lot of apps that were developed for the M1 chip right out the gate. There were some, but not a lot. And I felt that it kind of did the laptop a little bit of a disservice to rush out a review just to sort of, be one of the first ones out there. Now, of course, I probably lost a lot of views because of that. But, for buyers out there that are looking for a solid laptop from Apple, I wanted to give you the best and most current information. Now, as of recent, Adobe has released Photoshop that is compatible with M1. Apple has updated Final Cut to be more compatible with this as well. And there's been other app developers that have really enhanced their apps to take advantage of this chipset. So I thought now is the time to talk about this MacBook Pro and my thoughts on the system and how good this chip is. So let's talk about it. Now, before we get into things, I do want to let you know I'm not paid or sponsored by anybody for this review. These are my thoughts and my thoughts only. And I have to say that because my next statement here is going to sound a little bit like a fanboy, but I'm only speaking honestly to you. As you know, on this channel, I've reviewed a number of laptops. Kai Hong does a lot of the laptops on his Terrified channel as well. And I recommend, of course, the MacBook Air earlier last year and, the MacBook Pro 13-inch. Apple released the M1 chip. I was excited because I thought to myself, ooh, this is sort of going to be this combination of what they're doing with the iPad Pro, which is phenomenal, and then bringing it into a laptop. Little did I know that it was much more than that. This is a huge step in computers, laptops, desktops. This M1 chip is going to push the industry forward in a big way. And when I was playing with this laptop, by the way, mine's pretty much maxed out, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage. Of course, you can get more storage if you want to order from Apple, but this is how my review unit came in. I have been impressed since I turned on the power button. It is blazingly fast. It handles everything with ease, and I have stress tested this. I've put 8K video on this. I have put 6K video on this. I've edited reviews that you've seen here on the channel on this laptop. I've compared it here to the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is moderately configured. Not top end, but it's decently priced in terms of configuration. This, in ways, beats this, coming in at $1,899 US dollars or 2,749 Singapore dollars. This laptop is double that, or maybe even more when you configure it. This M1 chip is the future, and it blows my mind. Now, let's talk about how I use a laptop, because I've mentioned this before previously on the channel, is I'm not into architecture, because I do get these requests like, do you use AutoCAD or do you use these programs? No. I use my laptop for a few things. First off, general web browsing like everybody does. Safari, Chrome, Word documents, all that. Then I also do Photoshop, Lightroom, Capture One, and I use Final Cut Pro. This is how I use my laptop. So if you fall in line with that, great. Ask me any questions. If you use these really odd applications that I've never probably heard of or never going to use, I might not be able to help you on that. So I just want to let you guys know in terms of your expectations for this video. So let's talk about the design. It looks the same as the previous year's MacBook Pro. Okay, done. Moving on. I wish it had more ports, and I'll address that later on in the review. But of course, you can get those third-party peripherals that you can attach to it to give yourself more ports, which Apple should include in this thing. It's a Pro laptop. Air I get. Pro, give us more than just 2 USB or Thunderbolt 3 ports on the side. Come on, Apple. I mean, hopefully you do this in the future. The display is fantastic. Keyboard, same keyboard, Magic Keyboard. We love it. It's great. Okay. Now, here's the thing with the M1 MacBook Pro that I think kind of threw people from the beginning. Only 16 gigabytes of RAM. What about 32 gigabytes? I need more RAM. No, you don't. You don't need it. The architecture with the M1 chip and the RAM, it's all in one chip. So the architecture is different than, let's say, other laptops. So you cannot compare it to other laptops. As a matter of fact, when I was testing this out and comparing it to other laptops that I've used and tried, and I even talked to Apple about this, 16 gigabytes of RAM on this performs like 32 gigabytes on other laptops, because however it's designed internally in the chip and how it can read information and send information back and forth, it's a shorter pathway. I don't know. It's way beyond. I didn't study this in college, okay? I just know it's faster. 1 terabyte of storage, more than enough for most people out there. You know, it handles apps with ease. Everything launches fast. But even if the app is not natively developed for the M1 chip, you know, Apple's developed this processor to accept those applications. I forget the name. We'll put it here what it is. But it runs beautifully. You don't even know it's like in a virtual program per se. It just runs smooth, and there's no hiccups. There's no jittering to it. There's no nothing. It runs as you would normally think a program will run. But when it's designed for the M1 chip, that's when it gets interesting, because now Photoshop is lightning quick. Lightroom, CC, quick. Final Cut is crazy fast. I'm rendering. I did a review for the Leica SL2S. You see, I'll put a link here if you want to check that out. And I edited it completely on this laptop, especially and also the Apple Pro Raw for the iPhone. And I remember this because I was talking to the team about this, is that my Leica video was around 8 gigabytes, 4K. And I rendered it out. And it took me about 20 minutes to render a 4K video, which is about 23, 24 minutes long. And, you know, for people that are using Premiere, it's like they got to go have dinner, come back, and maybe it's still rendering. This was like 15, 20 minutes. It was done. Unbelievable. Same with the other videos as well. Photoshop, all the tools work. Everything's great. No hiccups. And I'm even pushing it. I'm using the GFX 100S with 100 megapixel images. TIFF files are around 600 megabytes, 700 megabytes. It's working on this. Yeah, it's a little bit challenging at times for Photoshop because you have to have some memory for it. So if your SSD is filled up, it will tax it. But without it, it handles it relatively well. A 600-700 megabyte file, TIFF file, with layers, it handles it pretty much with ease. 8K video. I was testing the Sony Alpha 1 recently. I say, well, let's see how the M1 chip handles 8K video, because we know Canon's version doesn't do so well on any laptop, even a Mac Pro. It played beautifully on this. Not one dropped frame in QuickTime and in Final Cut Pro. So I said, let's put it on the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Drop frames. It was stuttering. It performed better on this M1 chip than on this Intel chip on the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now, this is not to say this is a bad laptop. This is a very good laptop, okay? This 16-inch is a phenomenal laptop. I'm comparing it for the sake of this, to show you how good this laptop is for the price point and what Apple's offering. Usually Apple's always been at a premium, but you always felt like you weren't getting that top of the line performance. You know, some people have always complained about this from Apple. I can tell you now that is changed. With this laptop and the MacBook Air, your performance that you're getting out of this is way above what other laptops are giving you currently on the market. And now if they come out with some M1X or whatever rumored chip it's going to be called for, let's say the 16-inch MacBook Pro, whatever size they're going to come out with, or even an iMac for that matter, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to the computer industry. I really don't know. Battery life. Let's talk about battery life on this thing. If you're not using intensive applications, let's say Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom, and you're not really doing hardcore edits, you don't need to charge this laptop about once every few days. Day to day, like watching YouTube videos, browsing the web, writing Word documents, it doesn't want to die. This battery just keeps on going. The battery consumption is phenomenal out of this. The power delivery, Apple's done such a good job on this laptop. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like the big joke everybody laughs about when I have other friends that have this laptop. They're like, I don't need to charge my laptop every day. I can take it out with me. I can go work at a cafe, I can go to the office, and I don't need to worry about it. That's how good this laptop is. I know I sound like a fanboy right now. I really do. And I'm sorry, guys. I just, I have to be honest with you. This is a very, very good laptop. Now, it's not perfect. There are some things we're going to address. First off, you know what I didn't talk about? Fan speed or fan noise. Everybody talks about fan noise, right? Right? We talk about fan noise. This bad boy, you were using Zoom and all that kind of stuff, and you want to do some video conferencing, man, it sounds like it's a vacuum cleaner sometimes, right? Just in the background. I haven't been able to get the fan to kick on like that with this. And like rendering an 8K file, rendering a 4K video. No. If it's on, they've got some great sound dampening to it because I can't hear it. It's really that good. So what don't I like about this laptop? Just one thing. It has 2 Thunderbolt USB 4 ports. That's it. On a Pro machine, I'm sorry, that's a little bit unacceptable. Apple, I know you say this for your big laptops like the 16-inch where you got the ports and it's great. But why do I need to buy a third-party peripheral to get more ports on a Pro machine? I get if it's called the Air. But when it says Pro people have to plug more things in than just 2 ports. They have to. Apple, please. You got room. There's a side here. It's got nothing there except a headphone jack. There's a lot of room there. A couple ports would be nice. Come on, Apple, you can do it. I believe in you. 2 more ports so I can have 4. Then I'll be a happy camper. Then I'd give this a 10 out of 10. Now I have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. See, Apple? Because of you, with these 2 ports, you lose 0.5 points. Anyway, all kidding aside, that's my only complaint on this laptop. I mean, it really is, it's exceeded my expectations. It's blown my mind on the performance of it. I have people talking about their Intel and AMD chips and how good those are. I'm like, you try this, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. So do I recommend it? Yes. Will it handle most of the programs you're probably going to be using for a 13-inch MacBook Pro? Yes. Final Cut will perform much better than Adobe Premiere. So for you Premiere users out there, maybe it's time to go to Final Cut Pro. Just telling you, because if I can render a 24-minute video in 15-20 minutes in 4K, just putting it out there, maybe it's time to look at an alternative. Maybe unless Adobe decides to fix Premiere to work with the M1 chip. But, DaVinci's done it. Adobe, it's your turn. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the MacBook Pro 13-inch M1 edition. I'm a fan. I love this laptop. This is probably one of the best laptops under $3,000 Singapore dollars, mind you, in the market right now, if not the best. And for you US folks out there, for under $2,000, just get this. You're going to be blown away by what it can do. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you have another thought, another laptop I should be looking at? Let me know. Anyway, like always, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Be safe out there, and we'll chat to you soon. Take care.